Do you remember these songs? Manyake by Circuite and Joel, Merimela by Uncle Coniah, Bango Tuch by Vicmass Luodollar, or even Mwanake by Benachi. If you just got hit with a wave of nostalgia, you're not alone. These artists once ruled the airwaves, but then, poof, they vanished. One artist who really broke my heart was Chantelle. She released Tokelezea featuring Abash Kubaf, one of the biggest club bangers of the early 2010s. Chantelle had the swagger, the voice, and of course the looks to become Kenya's next big female rapper. But instead of dropping more hits, she disappeared. And she's not the only one. The list of Kenyan artists who had a massive hit and then vanished is long. Some have tried to make a comeback, but let's be real, no one really cares about their music anymore. Now, most people assume that when a celebrity disappears, it's because their career crashed and burned. But that's not always the case. So today, we're diving deep into the stories of Kenyan one-hit wonders, the artists who had all the potential to become superstars, but somehow lost the plot, or maybe just lost interest. What happened to them? And more importantly, are they still making music? Let's find out. To start, we are going back to the 2000s and we'll gradually move into recent times. Let's begin with the group Sema. Sema is the group that introduced Kenyans to Sanaipei Tande. It was formed in 2004 after the Coca-Cola pop stars talent search and consisted of Pam Waithaka, Kevin Waweru and Sanaipei Tande. The group rose to fame with their hit song Leta Wimbo, which positioned them as the next big thing in Kenyan music. Fans believe that they were on their way to becoming the biggest group in Kenya, perhaps even Africa. However, that never happened. After Leta Wimbo, they released Leo and Sakata. But these songs never achieved the same level of success. Just 6 months after their breakthrough, the group unexpectedly parted ways, a move that disappointed many fans. Since then, it seems that apart from Sanaipei Tande, who remains musically relevant, the other members have reportedly left the music industry to pursue other careers. You might not know or have never heard of King George's, but I'm sure you've heard this song. King George's is yet another victim of the one-hit wonder curse. Whatever happened to him and his music career remains a mystery. Even if you try googling his name, let's try it, King George's, all you can find are these images, historical kings from centuries ago. That said, there's no denying that he was talented. To this day, people still ask about his whereabouts. Some even speculate that the song Unapause by Lil Minor, AJ and Boutros was sampled from Unani Jazz. Okay, both tracks share a similar vibe, and AJ even uses the phrase Unani Jazz in his lyrics. But whether it was directly sampled, that's up for debate. You can listen to both songs and decide for yourself. If you're alive in 2005, then Amko Katike by Shizas was a song you definitely knew or at least heard. This was the anthem of that time, with teenagers, or let me say everybody, trying to memorize the lyrics or dance to it. What made this song even more fascinating is that the artist behind it, Shizas, was just 17 years old, a high school student from Mombasa. At that time, it was Kenya's version of Bow Wow. If you don't know Bow Wow, well, maybe you weren't born yet or your family was too broke to afford a television. It's not your fault. Amko Katike was massive. I can't even explain how big it was. But just so you get the picture, Caesar shared the stage with some of the biggest artists of that era. Jamaica's Sean Paul, Tanzania's Mr. Blue, and Kenyan heavyweights like Amani, Red Sun, CMB Prezo, Juakali, Nameless, and many others. At just 17 years old, Caesar was destined for greatness. Well, on his way to superstardom, but then in October 2006, he vanished. No farewell, no explanation, just gone. Reports say that a week before his KCSE examinations, he left home to visit a friend in the neighborhood, never to return. To this day, his family and fans still wonder what really happened to him. It has been over 19 years, and the boy who was supposed to lead Kenya's next music revolution remains a missing person. If Caesars was still alive today, he'd be in his mid-30s, and who knows, maybe he'd have even more big hits, but he's not here. Yet his music and the mystery of his disappearance will never be forgotten. And that brings us to the next two individuals, Shavey and Slice. If you stepped into any matatu between 2008 and 2010, there was a 99% chance you had Gyal by Shavey and Slice. This song had Kenyans going crazy with its Jamaican-inspired dancehall vibe, so much so that even Jamaicans were giving them props. Just imagine. Their sudden emergence as Kenya's new dancehall kings in 2009 turned into a nightmare for Redson, who had long held the title of Kenya's undisputed dancehall king. With the success of Gyal, fans expected Shavey and Slice to follow up with even more viral dancehall hits, but that never happened. Instead of capitalizing on their hype, they got comfortable. They disappeared only to re-emerge in 2011 with a remix of Gyal, which for some reason received minimal attention. In 2013, they attempted another comeback with Bayuda, a track inspired by Ugandan dancehall, but this too was a flop, receiving minimal airplay. One of the biggest blows to their career was negative publicity, particularly surrounding Shavey. Despite being a dancehall star, Shavey worked as a matatu conductor or makanga, something that didn't sit well with the fans. This stigma made it hard for them to book shows, ultimately slowing down their growth in the music industry. Then came September 2013, a major scandal. Shavey was arrested in Kayole after being caught red-handed breaking into a butchery to steal meat, just imagine, and of course some money. But things got even worse. In 2018, Shavey was run over by a matatu in Kayole and died. His partner Slice disappeared from the limelight, and to this day, his whereabouts remain unknown. Yet, despite their downfall or disappearance, Gyal remains a timeless club banger. Over a decade after its release, it's still widely played in Kenyan clubs and remains one of Kenya's greatest dancehall songs. There was also a club banger called Bambika by typical Shank Radix and lyrical Eriko. The song was massive, but this artist disappeared. There's this part in the song that goes, Bambika bambika na ingoma noma, kwa sababu tunaanza na tutakoma. Well, walianza na wakakoma. After Bambika, this trio never managed to produce another big song like Bambika. However, among them, Shanky Radix was the only one who tried to keep going. He continued making more music with tracks like Matamshi Yako Rafiki and Leo ni Leo. While these songs may not have reached Bambika levels, they are actually not bad. If you're curious, you can go and check them out and be the judge. This was another massive song, but I bet you've forgotten about the track and the artist. So let's talk about it. Manyake was that one song that made parents cringe. No parent wanted their kids to listen to it because it was considered too explicit. In fact, the song was originally called Juala, a Sheng word for condom. People renamed it to Manyake. Now, Manyake is another Sheng word that means meat, but in this song, it refers to a woman's behind. The video of this song was not the best. It was shot in a butchery, and the quality was poor. However, that didn't matter. The song went viral anyway, and these two got multiple opportunities to perform and travel across the country. They even went as far as Tanzania, which tells you just how big Manyake was. By the way, in 2005, they got a Kisima nomination, which was a huge deal back then. If you don't know, Kisima was Kenya's biggest award ceremony, celebrating East African artists across various genres. Back to Manyake, the song gained attention mainly because of its message. Circuite and Joel openly talked about the use of condom at a time when discussing such topics in public was considered taboo. The song was actually educational if you think about it. So why were people against it? Well, it's rumored that the government initially banned it because of its bold lyrics. But looking back at what we have today, compared to songs like Matiati by Zero Sufuri or even Pandana by Ethic, Manyake is child's play. But I understand that was a different generation. Now, what happened to Circuite and Joel? Circuite got saved and was connected to Jesus. He even began preaching in church. In 2011, he released this song called Chakutumaini Sina. Okay, the song went nowhere, and judging from what we just heard, you understand why. Circuite also got into business, running his family's real estate business. On the other hand, Joel continued making music but switched to inspirational and conscious songs, including gospel tracks. His music is actually decent and even worked for an advertising firm at some point. Now let's talk about Tokelezea by Chantelle featuring Kankang or Abbas Kubaf. Chantelle gave us Tokelezea, one of the biggest club bangers of the early 2010s. Now, Chantelle had the looks, the voice, and the potential to become Kenya's next big female rapper. If Tokelezea was dropped today, I honestly believe that it will still go viral, especially because of Chantelle. Look at that. Do you even have a female rapper today that can match her looks? Dana Chords, let me not comment. Tokelezea was actually Chantelle's first ever song. She was around 20 years old when it dropped. But here's something that most people don't know. Tokelezea started as a dare from Abbas Kubaf, who challenged Chantelle to record a song with him, and she actually did it. And by surprise, the song was a major hit. Instead of dropping more music, Chantelle ventured into other things, like marriage. She got married to producer Jay Blessing, but they later divorced. She then started acting, appearing in Lies That Bind in 2012, 2 movies in 2016 called Keeping Up Appearances and Better of the Better Halves. She also featured in Anti-Boss, Pendo, and Papa Shirandula. Let me give you more recent examples. In 2022, she got featured in a show called Q as Stacey Banda, and later in 2023, she got featured in another show called Becky that used to air on Citizen Television. But why did she really stop making music? Well, the answer is simple. She got saved. Ironically, Tokelezea was actually a rebellious act against her dad, who was a pastor. Judging by the video, you can just tell she was really rebellious. That's not the way you'd expect a pastor's kid to dress. But eventually, she found salvation and left music behind. Is she doing okay? Well, judging from her recent Instagram photos, she seems just fine. Many consider Alassi a one-hit wonder, but is he really? Let's find out. Alassi was a rising star thanks to Working Class, a song that became his biggest and most memorable track. He even did a remix featuring Nonini, which was good, but let's be real, it never matched the original. After that, his presence in the industry faded. Years later, he resurfaced, releasing several Kikuyu songs, but they didn't gain much traction. Then, in 2020, he jumped on the Jerusalema That Wave, if you remember it, dropping a Kikuyu version, which surprisingly got millions of views. But let's be honest, since it wasn't an original composition, does it really count when rating his music career? You tell me. Outside of music, Alassi is doing quite well. He runs a successful Kikuyu online show called Rekeshu Menaene, which has become a big deal. Even though his music career didn't explode after Working Class, he has built a strong following in other spaces. Now let's move from Working Class to another song that went extremely viral. Correct me if I'm wrong, and I know this might sound controversial, but this song was bigger than Working Class. I'm talking about Mary Mela Kipenzi. The song belongs to Uncle Coniah. The problem is only a few can identify this composer, Uncle Coniah. To be honest, I don't even know what he looks like. This is the first time I'm even watching this video. But one thing is for sure, his song was played everywhere in Kenya. Mary Mela was bigger than the artist himself. This one song has fed Uncle Coniah over the years.
Yes.
So the song has fed you over the years?
Yeah, it's the reason why I'm still strong.
After Merimela, not much was said about him. His music slowly faded away from radio and television, though he still gets some airplay here and there. Uncle Coniah is still making music, but let's just say the reception hasn't been the same. In 2013, Pizo Dizo gave us Charlie Stingy, a humorous track mocking stingy men. It was a catchy and relatable song. Pizo Dizo had the buzz, the attitude, and the delivery, everything needed to make the song a viral hit. For a while, she was on her way to becoming a top female artist, but she wasn't. And also, is this Kasipul? What is this guy doing here? Anyway, some people argue that Pizo Dizo actually went viral because of another song called Quality Kaijo, and that's fine. We're not here to argue. At the end of the day, unfortunately, her music career ended fast. This was caused by some factors like lack of consistent releases and proper management. She still continued making more music, releasing Rungu ya Karao in 2020 and My Ex in 2021. But both songs got minimal attention. There was also another artist who dropped more songs after his viral song, but got minimal attention. His name? Benachi. Till today, Benachi is remembered for one song, Monake. When this song dropped in 2014, it was everywhere. And honestly, it still gets played in 2025. It's one of those timeless gospel hits. You can play it today and everybody will sing along. But did Benachi ever make another song as big as Monake? Not really. He kept making more music and some of his later songs were decent, but they never gained the same traction. However, going viral isn't always the most important thing. Sometimes it's about the impact of the song, right? It's reported that Benachi moved to America and even got married. Benachi has been pretty active on YouTube together with his family, and judging by his videos, he seems to be doing really well. Let's talk about the next song, Bank Otuch by Vicmass Luodollar. Bank Otuch was a hit song, or as Vicmass himself calls it, a classic record.
So the song was a hit for 4 years?
Not a hit, it's a classic record. It's not a hit song. It's a classic record.
Okay, what's the difference?
The difference is a hit can come and go. A classic, which is a Bank Otuch saizi, hata mwenye hajawahi sikia hiyo song atadhani ilirekodiwa jana. It's a classic, it's timeless.
Vicmass gained prominence in 2015 after releasing Bank Otuch, but it was in 2016 when he did the remix featuring Octopizo that the song exploded. The remix took Bank Otuch from just being a Luo anthem to a nationwide hit. And honestly, Vicmass wasn't lying. You can play this song even today and people will still vibe to it. After Bank Otuch, Vicmass never really managed to make another song as huge as Bank Otuch, but that does not mean he stopped making music. He has released a couple of decent songs like Simbe Adek and Call Police. However, none of the songs have reached the heights of Bank Otuch. Still, Bank Otuch alone cemented Vicmass Luodollar's name in Kenyan music history. Alindo is another star who failed to make another big song. Alvindo's rise to fame was honestly one of the weirdest we've ever seen in Kenya. Instead of moving on after being dumped like a normal person, he decided to record a song about it. The song was Takataka, a song that was both hilarious and horrifying at the same time. The song went insanely viral, but there was one problem. The Kenyan government hated it. Authorities banned it. Let's be particular, Ezekiel Mutua, warning DJs against playing it because it was immoral, degrading to women, and glorified toxic behavior. That should have been the end for Alindo, but he tried to clean up his image with another song called Boy Child, a track about the struggles of Kenyan men. This one didn't get banned and people actually liked it. Maybe, just maybe, Alindo had a future beyond controversy. Spoiler alert, he didn't. His follow-up songs flopped, the magic was gone, Kenyans moved on, and Alindo struggled to stay relevant. Today Alindo is nowhere to be found. His social media is dead and nobody knows where he went. His rise was fast, but his fall was even faster. The next artist, or let me say the next person, is the wild Willis Raburu. I know what you're thinking. Why is Willis Raburu even here? You're forgetting, this man gave us Kalale. Well, technically, he didn't sing, he just brought a bunch of artists together. shouted his name in the intro, Wild Wild Willis.
It's the Wild Wild Willis.
DJ Khaled style, and boom, a massive hit was born. When Kalale dropped, we actually thought Willis Raburu would keep going, curating hit after hit, but that didn't happen, or it's yet to happen. His follow-up track Jeshi featuring Saru, Furthermore and Rico Gang didn't blow up like Kalale. At one point, even announced an EP, but did he ever release it? I don't think so. Even though his music career faded, we can't ignore Willis Raburu's impact on Kenyan music. His show, 10 over 10, was a major platform for Kenyan artists, especially Gengeton artists. He pushed the culture, gave young artists a stage, and in some way, contributed to the growth of Gengeton and Kenyan music as a whole. Let's talk about Stoopid Boy. Is he really a one-hit wonder? Well, it's too early to tell. If you don't know who I'm talking about, is the man behind Jiba Gajat, a massive song that has garnered millions of views. However, Stoopid Boy has yet to release another big hit like Jiba Gajat, but as I said, it's still too early to tell. Right now he's in rehabilitation, battling alcoholism. Maybe when he comes out, he'll make another big song, who knows. The good thing is he still has time to turn his life around and revive his music career. He is undeniably talented, but talent alone is not enough. Without the right mindset and discipline, he risks becoming another one-hit wonder. There is another artist who gave up on making music, Ngesh Text. In May 2023, Spider Clan dropped Riengenje, or as you know it, Kabebe Kazoze, a low-budget song that initially seemed like a flop. But thanks to Ngesh's hilarious and catchy lyrics, the track blew up on social media, turning her into an overnight sensation. Big names like Karen Nyamu and Mike Sonko took notice, publicly supporting her. Then came a major endorsement with Audibets, and for a moment, it seemed like nothing could stop Ngesh. But after Kabebe Kazoze, she disappeared from the music scene, leaving many to wonder, was she just another one-hit wonder? Their follow-up tracks flopped and fans quickly lost interest. Even a remix of Kabebe Kazoze featuring DJ Shiti and others failed to reignite their momentum. Ngesh later said that despite a viral fame, making money from music wasn't as easy as it seemed. Yes, she was trending, but that didn't translate to financial success. Shockingly, they didn't earn a single shilling from YouTube for their hit song Kabebe Kazoze. By 2024, Spider Clan was fading. Ngesh Text signed a new recording deal, but it led nowhere. Rumors then surfaced that she had returned to hawking, selling handbags. Just imagine. The truth is, being a one-hit wonder is both a gift and a curse. Your song gets played on the radio, at weddings, in clubs, and in matatus for years, but eventually, your name fades and people stop talking about you. But why do so many artists fail to follow up on their success? Is it bad management, a lack of creativity, or did they simply run out of luck? At the end of the day, one hit is better than no hit, I believe that. So to all the one-hit wonders out there, wherever you are, thank you for the memories, and if you're planning a comeback, well, good luck with that. And I guess with that, we are done. Thanks for watching till the end. Which one-hit wonder did I miss? Drop a comment below, and if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe.